Andrew Lowe. I'm the founder, creator of Lowe Bicycles, and we build aluminum bicycle frames right here in my tiny little shop in San Francisco. Building my first frame was about a 3-year process, starting back in 2007, and I built a frame in 2009 at UBI, which is the United Bicycle Institute. That was a 2-week course, but up to that point, I've been, learning a lot about the trade, the 2 years prior to that, and then just after that, it took about another year of getting my tools together, getting my process finalized for aluminum, and I had everything ready to go by the summer of 2010. I was able to build my first 2 frames. I initially learned MIG welding, which is a pretty different process from TIG welding, and that I learned at a off-road shop that I used to work in when I was in school in Colorado, and we did roll cages for Jeeps and stuff like that, and did custom suspension for rock crawlers and things like that. So my welding career started out just doing tack welds, and so my boss would come in and do the final welds, and so earlier on, so that was starting like 2003 and 4, around that time, and then so that was like my early welding career was mostly in MIG and working with steel, and then later on when I decided to build bikes, I came back to welding, and then again that was around 2007, and I again started on steel, but this time I was doing the TIG welding. I took a lot of different classes here and there and tried my best to get as much stick time as possible, basically. And that's the secret, is you got to have as much time at the table. So that's when I really started learning. Was basically the time. It was about a 2-year process of really getting up to speed for bicycles, and then even then, my earlier frames are just. They're not nearly as nice as my own. So they're still great bikes, and I still ride mine, which is one of the first 10 lows I've ever built. I don't ride any other ones, but yeah, they're just getting prettier and prettier. I'm pretty proud of that. It started out as I wanted to build one frame, and then from there it turned into, I realized that building just even one frame would be a really big commitment. And at the time I had my own small remodeling business, just doing small remodeling projects, and so I'd already been working for myself for a few years, and this kind of almost made sense because it kind of was in the line. It was in line with things that I wanted, the things that I wanted out of a job, out of life, whatever. So as I realized that it was going to be a big commitment, even just to build 2 frames, I thought, well, this could be something. I believed in what I was doing. I knew that what I wanted to do would work well, and I'm lucky it has, so. It was just out of necessity, basically, that I decided to do it professionally. Why fixed gear? Even though I have plans on doing road bikes and cross frame and all that, that's all in the works. I chose fixed gear because it was it's what I was into at the time when I started Little Bicycles. B, they're a much simpler bike to build, and for somebody starting out, I think it was a good choice. And C, I found a really good niche when I got into this. There wasn't really a lot of there was really no domestic small scale builders catering to the fixed gear market, and I think I caught on to that. I caught on to the whole kind of San Francisco mystique of the whole fixed gear world. I think I was in the right place at the right time, and so I think that's why I started with fixed gear bikes. Basically, when I got back from college, I saw a lot of kids around. I moved back to San Francisco, and I just saw a lot of kids riding them, and I really liked the idea of just a very stripped down, simplified bike. No cables, no brakes, very. I just like something that was stripped down to that essence of what a bicycle is, and and then I liked the whole look of it. And it was all the cool kids doing it at the time, so there was that. And also, I guess when I was younger, I was into skating and all that, and so I think the whole kind of rebirth of the fixed gear sort of has a lot of roots in that sort of affinity and that kind of mindset and the type of people that were attracted to that. And I think I was just one of those people. Frames are made out of aluminum for now. Eventually I would like to get into other materials, but that's still a ways off. So basically, the way it works now is we have a customer. They go online, they make their order, and we have a wait list of several months. So for a while, the customer just sits tight, and then about a month before we start their build, we send them out confirmation notice so they can confirm their order, in case they want to change anything, whatever. And it usually takes a week or two to wrangle everybody in for one run. So we do runs of 5 frames, and we have them staggered. So on the first week, Josh, he'll once everything's confirmed, he'll go in and he'll cut all the tubing, and have it all ready, as you can see over there. And then from that, the next week, I go in and I start to tack the frames together, and I weld, and it basically takes me 5 days to weld 5 frames. And then the week after that, we do our polishing and our finish work, to get it ready for painting and all that. So that's 2 days of work, and then we're heat treating as well in those days that are early over there. So basically, it's a week to cut, and then a week to weld, and then another week to finish. It's about a 4-week process basically to build 5 frames. But we're always staggering runs. At any given week, we got 4 to 5 runs